Endre Jefferson.
Even before I started this academy, I always wondered, am I going to get pulled over one day and get shot or get killed by a police officer that's not having a good day? And that honestly runs through my head each and every day, you know. I can become a police officer, but still though, it's the color of my skin that's what some police officers look at. You're gonna already know you're gonna have some people call, say, oh, you're Uncle Tom, or you're one of them now. What made you do it?
You got the tools, use them correctly.
Before, I wanted to do it, get the experience. But now, since we've had the George Floyd situation and the Michael Brown situation, I got a more different outlook and a better goal.
None of the scenarios that we're doing, you guys have not covered. You guys should be well versed on how to handle just about every call that comes down the pipe. 962 respond to a domestic in progress involving one couple and neighbors in the area. It's turning into a large disturbance.
Okay, what you say, what you do, you ain't never ready for it.
Start me back up, please. Around the age of 10, 12 years old, that's when I realized I wanted to be a police officer.
You're not coming on this back.
A police officer is somebody their job is protect and serve.
Drop the gun.
This program is a HBCU program from a historic black college. They take you through scenarios and they bring in their own actors and they play out real events and you gotta solve that situation.
Let's go down to the police, sir.
There you go, now come on out here.
Thank you. One of the things that I was proud about you guys tonight, oftentimes we find people that get too complacent and want to use that stuff on their little Batman belt, thinking that everything on your little Batman belt is going to solve all your problems. The best weapon you have is here and the ability to think through a process.
Endre Jefferson is one of 9 recruits who are part of the inaugural class of Lincoln University's Police Academy.
Rebecca Wilson has an order of protection against Mr. Hunter.
That is correct. She has an active order of protection against Mr. Hunter.
Lincoln is the first HBCU to ever have a police academy.
We're a historically black college, and so I thought that putting a police academy here would be a good way to increase our minority footprint in law enforcement.
The American police force is predominantly white. Only 12% are black, and only 15% are women nationwide.
When I started in '97, I believe, and I was one of 2 black males out of 26 in that police academy. It's important for us to look like the communities we serve.
The program was created by Lincoln University Police Chief Gary Hill following the death of George Floyd, and it focuses on a community-based style of policing.
This academy teaches us, yes, every call you get, you're gonna get that adrenaline rush, That situation is already amped up. And if you come on scene amped up, then you're gonna amp that situation up even more, which can lead to somebody getting shot, somebody getting hurt, somebody getting killed.
Police training in the United States isn't regulated, and the majority of academies focus on an outdated military style of policing. But at Lincoln University, Chief Hill puts an emphasis on de-escalation strategies in his curriculum.
On the domestic, we need to care about what? The victim. That's the most important.
Everything we do is geared towards community policing. We need to treat everyone consistently, regardless of what they look like. In our practical exercises, we actually stick them in situations to where people aren't going to be so nice to them, and it is their job to de-escalate the situation.
Hey, yeah, go back home, listen to him. He said go back.
The question that people have often asked, is there racism in policing? Yes, the answer is unequivocally yes.
I'm juggling the thought of me being on duty as a police officer versus me being off duty as a police officer and fearing for my life, especially with the races, some racist officers or some officers that just don't care about you or care for you or your kind.
In 2020, there were over 1,100 killings by police, with black people being 3 times more likely to be killed by police than white people.
Whenever we hear about a police shooting, we're all holding our breath. until we find out the race of the officer and the race of the person that was involved.
Y'all been brainwashed. When you got badge come up, they don't respect you. They'll beat your ass just like they beat me.
For the last couple of years, since Michael Brown in Ferguson, we're holding our breath to see what we're about to deal with next.
I'm tired of watching us die. We need justice.
The origin of policing in the U.S. can be traced to slave patrols, created in the 1700s to enforce slavery laws that controlled the lives of enslaved people. Slave patrols were also in charge of locating and returning slaves that had attempted to escape.
From the slave patrols to where we are now, you have witnessed the change. We're making strides. It's just not happening fast enough. And I think until we educate each other and talk about what has actually happened in our country and everyone have a firm understanding of what has happened to get us to this point, we're just spinning our wheels.
I would be more on the line of it wouldn't be defunding the police, it would be holding officers more accountable for what they've done. Instead of, oh, okay, I'm just gonna suspend you for a certain amount of days and you're back on duty.
Reporting data of use of force to the FBI is voluntary for police agencies, but Mapping Violence has tracked that 98.3% of killings by police from 2013 to 2020 have not resulted in officers being charged with a crime. In the summer of 2020, cries to defund the police rippled across the globe. The movement is a call to re-examine funding for police departments and look into alternative methods to provide safety in communities.
I believe the term defund the police is definitely polarizing. We all want the same thing. We should have said, let's reallocate funds and establish units to deal with some of these issues that law enforcement officers shouldn't be dealing with. A lot of us don't have a degree in sociology and psychology. I mean, we should literally be in school for probably about 10 years before we are allowed to do law enforcement work if this is what the public is continually asking us to be able to recognize and do. We know police needs to reform. We know we have problems internally and everything else. The Lincoln University Law Enforcement Training Program is a step in the right direction. I believe the more interest that we can draw from our minority communities into law enforcement, we could see a change.
Right now I'm about to just take some more practice tests. My test is today at 5 o'clock. This test determines if I'm about to be a police officer or not. Even the instructors that I encountered that are women, they told me, like, you're going to get it hard.
TA 353 on scene.
You're a woman in the police force, and also you're a black woman, so you're going to get it even harder.
With a gray pickup truck for a door, no license plate. No license plate. All right, here I come.
I just gotta stand my ground and know what I am doing it for. Don't let nobody, manipulate me to think something else of myself or make me think of another way to handle a situation. Like, I know right from wrong.
TA 353, how far is EMS?
To the family and friends who are here to celebrate with your loved ones.
I know I can't change the system, the whole system, but at least I can change, where I go to.
Tiaja, Fairlee.
No, I don't think the system would change me. I'm never gonna let nobody change how I think or how I'm gonna act because I know how to treat people. And that's the main thing. You just gotta know how to treat people with anything that you do.
Since graduation, Tiaja has been interning with Webster Groves Police Department in Missouri, and Endre has started his job as a police officer in Caruthersville, a city that lies in Missouri's Boot Heel along the Mississippi River.
What's up? Been out all night?
Nah, man. I just put my bag in the trunk, man, and went to the store, man, and came back.
It's natural. It's a natural feeling to me. I love it. Every time I come in, I was like, yeah, let's see. Now I'm just counting down the years to retirement.
Oh, thank you. Good job. Oh, thank you.
With communities that has completely lost all respect, all trust, all everything for the police officers, that you got to be patient. We will never feel the pain that George Floyd's family felt. You don't know if their family, every time they look around, no matter where they go, no matter what city, state, anywhere they look, every time they see a person with a badge and a gun, they're looking like, my brother, my father, my uncle, my nephew, my cousin died in the hands of a police officer. That's what they're gonna see. And you gotta be ready to, whenever you come into interaction with them or whenever you're going to deal with a situation with them, you gotta be ready for that anger to come back out.
Black Lives Matter!
You have to be ready for that. Me, as far as being able to change the system, I am very hopeful. Only thing about it is I can't do it alone. It just can't be a individual person thing. Matter of fact, it will have to be a whole world thing. Each officer will have to want to change the system.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.